Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another video. I haven't done one of these in quite a while. I think I missed the one for Caspian, but I got next to 50. And you're probably wondering, what took you so long? Well, you will want to watch this video so you know. But essentially, today I'm here to explain all my journey from 0 to 50 with Nyx. What I think are her pros, her cons, how she actually works well, and maybe even suggest some items and loadouts for you, and also show you off the gold skin. I haven't even played with it. I like literally, you see that was my last game. Got to 50 with her, and now we have here the skin to show off, plus the journey to talk about. So if you have seen the other two videos that I did about stuff that are wrong with Nyx, in my opinion, some of the changes, some of the things have been changed over the last patch, but still, there's still a lot of issues. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you are planning on getting Nyx to 50, I would advise either using double XP events, do it in bots, which apparently gives you the same XP, I think, but you're going to lose your mind because it becomes boring real fast. Or third, just wait for her to be fixed / buffed. So let's jump here into shooting range so I can show you off the skin and also talk about what exactly are the things that I went for in order to not lose my goddamn mind. So, first of all, let's take a look at her talents. Her 3 talents, and just for you to understand why I'm talking about this, the developers actually wanted to develop Nyx as a point tank, but my train of thought on this one is that they failed really fast just on the talents alone, because none of these talents are a point tank talent. I mean, maybe the second one, but even then, right? The first one cripples and lasts longer to the rift to do more damage, which is not even that much because it's just like an extra second. People just can run away easier, right? If anything, that should be allowing you to like explode the rift by your choice. Like when you re-click it again and it explodes by your choice, so you can do as much damage as fast as possible and have that cooldown go away so you can start reducing the cooldown to the next one. And then the third one, which was 3 seconds roots, I don't know who had that idea, but that really doesn't make any sense for a point tank at all. That seems like, for example, when you pick a Naringo cripples, definitely not a point tank. All right, you go in that as an off tank when you go with that. And then obviously the second one, which, you know, it's fine. It reduces the cooldown of the shield, which, by the way, this is literally the only way to reduce the cooldown through cards, loadouts, etc. Otherwise, you're going to have to go Chronos. And it gives a damage amplifier. Once again, this does not seem as a point tank's thing. But if I had to pick any of these 3, I would definitely pick the first one with the cripples all the time for a very simple reason. You're going to be going against tanks like, for example, Rams, Makoas, Barracks, even Inaras, right? Atlases, and just as soon as they're trying to run, as soon as they're holding it until last second to run away, you can cripple them. If somebody dives your support, you can go and try to cripple them. And if there's like a sniper who's trying to run away like a Ness or something, you can cripple them as well. The cripples are huge, especially because you can cripple multiple people at the same time and not just one. Obviously, it does get some getting used to in order to make sure that it's very, very effective. And after testing a lot, the most effective way I saw for you to have more damage over time with Nyx is have the card reduces the cooldown of your right click. This first one here that's blocked here. Let me see if I have another loadout here with her. There we go. The little things. Have this card on your loadout, always 3, 4, 5 points in your loadout at all times. All times. This is mandatory. You don't have anything to reduce the cooldown of your shield. You don't have anything to reduce the cooldown of your F. So might as well just have this so you can spam rifts. Okay? And obviously it does have a limitation. You can only reduce up to 5 seconds, but whatever. Listen, if you have this at 3, 4 points, before that cap triggers, you've already reduced enough to have another rift. Okay? So you're going to be spamming left click, right click. And out of the information I've obtained from somebody who watched my other 2 videos and actually commented because he plays a lot of Nyx, you are not there to try to make damage with your left click. you're using your left click to reduce the cooldown of your right click. So you can do left click, right click, and then you do the other abilities like you rotate them carefully, and I'll explain that in a bit. But that's mainly the point. Like, your point is to reduce your right click as much as possible and just send it over the Rift for those who are on console. However, there's one card that I did love a lot, and you see it very much here, except for this one here, which is this card right here that triggers speed for 5 seconds. It's probably one of the longest duration cards of speed I've ever seen in the game. For 5 seconds, you get extra speed. Obviously, she doesn't have any movement ability, so this is fantastic. I know some people like the giving speed to her and her allies every time you use the shield, but that can only do, you can only do that like every, what, 9, 10, 11 seconds, depending on what you're going to pick, Chronos, the talent, second talent, etc., which means you're going to lose the cripples for that. And yeah, you're giving speed to your allies, but why? Nyx is the one who has to stand near the enemies. You're going to be having to put that shield right in front of you, otherwise it gets instantly deleted, because the further it gets, the weaker it gets also. So you're going to put that shield right in front of you. And yes, you can slow down the enemies, but like, please. People sometimes even go around the shield. They don't go against the shield. Sometimes they are already avoiding it because of your second talent, so forget it. This will be way better. You can actually trigger this multiple times and stack it up a little bit. And also, just a little tip for anyone who doesn't know, using your left click to trigger the card that reduces the cooldown of your right click on shields, deployables, and etc. also work. This is a similar issue with the Caspian. This is something that they said they were never going to do ever again, and for some reason they started doing the new champions with this again. So she can actually reduce the cooldown of her right click by hitting shields. So anything you see, just shoot it. Just use your left click, hold it down, and just shoot it. And if you don't want to sometimes miss that extra damage you can do with the heavy clicks, go with Tree Freedom. Just 1 point should be more than enough. I do advise you on one thing. Do not be focusing on your left click too much, because half of the times it will no reg. And if you don't know what a no reg is no registering, not registering. And I've tested this out personally. I know what I'm telling you when I'm telling you this. And it will miss without you moving yourself, shooting a shield. You're shooting at that shield, hitting 2-3 shots in a row, and then the fourth one just misses, or maybe the second one or the first one. It doesn't matter. For some reason, some of the shots that Nyx does, they will just no reg. I don't know if they actually happen. It just doesn't do a damage number or something. I don't know. But she doesn't do a lot of damage. She had to be buffed already on that. They also did a little animation, by the way, for those who didn't see. Let me put this at max so you can see what I'm talking about here. But they did a change to her VFX of the punch. So let's put this at max. You see that little thunder now that it does? And if we go on third person, you see that thunder. Although I gotta be honest, I still would prefer... for the... Can I get it? There we go. I still would prefer for the bullets. That would make sense. And I would actually prefer for her to be piercing through enemies. I mean, she does 200 damage. Who else does 200 damage and can pierce enemies? That's right. That would be Ceres. Just make it not pierce through shields. That would be fantastic. I mean, how many times is there like a very low enemy right there and you're trying to hit him and you're like, look at this hitbox, like I can't hit him because the Victor is just eating it up, sucking up the bullets. So please just make her pierce, for the love of God. Please. Then, you know, continuing on the matter of the talents, the third talent, very much often people will see it and immediately just go for resilience. All right, because the time on the route is ridiculous. I don't know who thought that 3 seconds was fine. They had to nerf it down to 2.25, and I still think that's too much still. 2 seconds would have been enough. And I still think that one of the biggest issues with Nyx not only is the part where you miss your left clicks, right? But most often, I come across the issue that I want to have a loadout where I can be a point tank by... I don't know, like by reducing the cooldowns of my shield, my F, something, and I can't. I just can't. Forget it, right? I have to go for Chronos on that. But then I go for Chronos and I'm going to be suffering more damage because why? She does not have any damage reduction. The closest thing she has to a damage reduction is a card that says gain 30 health shield for using the for each enemy hit by Royal Presence chains. First of all, if you hit like 3 people, you're lucky. You're lucky. That's a possible 450 shield. That's garbage. That is garbage. It doesn't even say how long it lasts. I'm imagining that it's like a 3-second or something. That's super bad, and just wasting 5 points on that is absolutely bad. Even ROM has a better shield card than this. That's what I just don't follow. And now you're probably thinking, okay, but if I want to survive longer, I want the less cooldown on my shield. Honestly, taking away 2 seconds of the initial cooldown of your shield and then going for Chronos and not doing that and just going for Chronos straight away, it almost gives you the same reduction of time. It's not worth it. It's just not. Plus, you're gonna miss all your left clicks. The only benefit of this is whoever passes through the shield that you try to pull in with the chains, which, by the way, the pull is garbage. I have no shame on admitting that. Super, super bad. Weak as F. Like, you can't pull nothing. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, is this a pull? This is a nothing. Most of the times when people are walking around, it doesn't even move them, even without resilience. It's absolutely bad. Super bad. And essentially, you know, like having to pull them through your shield so your team can do extra damage, 10 extra damage. It was way better with Yago, all right? And they had to remove that. For Nyx, forget it. And I hate the entire fact that you need to be close up to people to do more damage. And she already has, which is sad to me, she has damage fall off. She has damage fall off. Then she does more damage the closer she gets. Basically incentivizing you to be super close. But half of the times your left click will miss. So you're not going to do anything. The best course of action is to spam your right click and just tap it. Don't even hold it. Tap it. Go left. Use your F and everything. If you're taking too much damage, immediately cancel your F or you're going to be going all the way to 0 and that's it. There's no salvation. Her F doesn't give you the R. Her F doesn't give extra healing. Her passive might help you. If you're playing on a TDM, you're going to have 10% extra, you know, heals, which you can potentially get to stack up with Rejuvenate in TDM. And on Siege, you're going to be forced to go into the point and just stay there and suffer from long range, medium range characters, right? There's a ton of like high grounds and other places that you cannot even reach. You're going to be trying to pull them with your chains. Chains don't work half of the times, even if you're in the range most of the times. So Nyx is a very, very delicate champion. She's buggy and she's weak by far. First thing they need to fix is her main shot. It needs to... First of all, I don't understand this. I'm looking at that Victor in the middle and I'm hitting the one on the left. It doesn't make any sense. You know how many times the shields who are standing right here next to me will suck up my shots? I'm not kidding. That happens a lot. And if anyone has already played Nyx, you will see what I'm talking about. So, first of all, she should pierce shots 100%. No questions asked. Fix her no reg, please, by the love of God. And give something for her F, like even just damage reduction, or make the damage that it does over time a little bit slower. Maybe increase a little bit of healing that she can get when using it. Maybe do a talent where it will grant you CC immunity and some extra heals similar to Inara. Just something. It's absolutely bad. Only thing that you can do, and for some reason there's a bug now that it will work for some reason, and I had a couple games before it actually happened, where you've probably already heard of it. You use this, you take the Drogo's ult and immediately ult, and the ult will transform that rainbow HP into your normal blue HP. But obviously you need to take a lot of damage really fast, and then you need to ult straight away in order to that to work, right? So gonna do this, gonna take some damage, and then I can do this and it transforms into blue HP. Sure, fantastic. And you can do that versus a Drogo's ult, Bomb King ult, Sky ult, etc, etc, etc. Most of the times I will be using my ultimate just as a CC thing, because if there's not enough CC on the enemy team that it requires me to buy resilience, I will be using my ultimate to save myself from a Ceres ult or something like that, okay? And that's what you should do. Which, speaking of which, let's talk about items. So the first item you should always worry about on Nyx, actually the first two items you should always work on Nyx would be Veteran and Haven. And I know that a lot of people are going to be like, well, but Nimble and stuff, she doesn't have mobility. That's why the card for speed on your right click works. You can spam your right click every 5 seconds and constantly have 16 or 20% movement speed, depending on how many you put on the card. So you don't need to Nimble, especially because it will have diminishing returns. There's no point in that. So Haven and Veteran. Why Haven? First of all, Haven doesn't just protect you from the damage you're going to be taking from the enemies. It also slows down the damage you take of the rainbow HP. I just figured that out a couple of weeks ago. This will make that rainbow HP, the when you take damage, goes down slower, which is weird because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. You see how it's going a lot slower right now? So there you go. So that helps you, first of all. Second, allows you to tank more, especially because you can't even reduce the cooldown of your shield, so you're gonna have to absorb a lot of damage. And then Veteran for, obviously, you know, having more HP to make Haven even more effective. So them both together are going to be expensive. You're going to have to play very passively at the start. Go for squishies first. Don't go fight tanks. If you have to ignore the point on the first round, if you're solo tank, just do it. Just go for the sides with your team. Go for the solo HPs, the solo players, and also the small HP champs, and just focus those, grind credits, and then go to point. Okay, because if you're going straight to point, you're just going to be punching the tank of the enemy team or shooting shields or whatever and not doing anything at all. Healing will eventually save those people. You don't even have anything else besides that extra HP or extra healing that you can get from getting on point. But most of the times you're going to have to walk away from it because you're going to be suffering. So just, you know, just go for that first in the first round. Just farm in the first round, farm for your ultimate and etc. And just do that. Those are the first two items I suggest, Haven and Veteran. After that, you got a couple of choices here. If there's a lot of CC on the enemy team, go for Resilience. All right, you want to do that. Resilience so that you don't stop for a very long time. You want to be constantly moving. That speed you get from the right click, that's for you to strafe. So you go left, right. Don't stand still for too long. You're not Yago. There's no point of you standing still to be an easy target, okay? Just keep dancing. Just keep getting left clicks on clones, shields, enemies, and whatever, just to reduce the cooldown of your right click, and just keep doing that. Then, two other items that you can get. Now, master riding might depend on map, ice mines, fish markets, whatever. You have to go like really fast, but remember that you might still get dismounted, so then start spamming your right clicks all the way to point so you can walk faster into it. But Kill to Heal and Rejuvenate are going to be your best next items. First of all, Rejuvenate will stack with the other passive, so that's fantastic, and it can allow you to survive a lot longer. Plus, since you have a lot of HP now due to Veteran, obviously you're going to need faster healing so that the support is not just focusing you, can focus you real quick and then go to the others. And Kill to Heal, because if you don't have to buy Resilience, Master Riding, you can stack these 4 items here, right? And what's going to happen is that every assist is going to give you less HP that the healer are going to have to work on, right? It's uncauterizable, so that's fantastic. Same thing works with Yago. And then Rejuvenate, obviously, for the reasons I just pointed out. The most effective loadouts I have had through this entire thing, I've tested out everything. I've tested out a damage loadout. This card makes you do 10% more damage with Poison Aura. I got loadouts where my shield essentially never is weak. This one here, like the shield, I can place it at long range, it will be always the same HP. I tried loadouts with more HP on the shield. It doesn't matter, that shield is weak as F. Alright, so just forget it. And try to cycle between your shield and your F. You want to be careful with that, because if you use them both at the same time, just remember, you might be using it for damage, but you're not really going to take advantage of that slow HP that you're going to be suffering. So what you want to do is you might want to use that F first, and then as soon as you are reaching half, that's when you place your shield, so you can then stop that F, right? The purple, the rainbow HP, whatever, and then you have your allies healing you during that little downtime there where the shield is up, so that you can go back up and compensate the damage you suffered. Okay, so the F is just to slow down your inevitable death. So then you put the shield, and then you eventually those two abilities go down, and you just keep spamming left clicks and right clicks to dance around, and then you use that speed to back out if you have to, and if you have no cooldowns after. But as I said, I tested out a ton of different loadouts, and the ones that I love the most are the following. These two right here. First one, full cooldown reduction of your right click and full speed, plus 3 points on max HP, so you're a bit more tanky. Because if you cannot have more shield, or if you cannot reduce the cooldown of your shield, might as well have more HP. It will be a lot harder to kill you, especially because the HP cards on tanks are busted. And then the other one, which is more for Siege and Onslaught. The first one was more TDM. Max HP, 750 extra, plus then max speed on the right click and reducing the cooldown of your right click. I've seen some people go like, oh, but you know that card that increases this one right here, that increases the trigger distance of that extra bonus damage of the 20 units or whatever. Yeah, that's all very fine, except for the half of the times it's not gonna work. It's not gonna do anything for you. You're gonna have a ton of no regs. You're gonna have a ton of shields and stuff in front of you. This just doesn't make up for anything. Okay, forget it. So these are the two loadouts I've used, and now that I've spoken about it, let's go with this, and then buy veteran to max. I think it's already working. Yeah, there we go. 6,524 HP. Plus, you're suffering 18% less damage of every source. And it also slows down the HP you lose on this. Right? Then you got to just rotate your shields and etc. Play behind it and everything. This is the best that I've ever tested out with her, that allows me to stay alive for a lot longer and just keep persisting on poking. It will give you a similar style of Inada, right? And that's what you want to go for. You're literally trying to build a point tank with a champion that it was not, I mean, it was meant to be a point tank, but it never worked as such. Right, so I'm giving you here the tips for you to stay alive for as long as possible. Don't focus too much on trying to kill. Focus more on like rotating, dancing around, helping your team, and then just going to point when you can. As for your ultimate, you can either use it, as I said, to survive to CC, to stop yourself from being pulled or being grabbed or being stunned or whatever. Or you can do it, as I said, you can use this and then use the ult and immediately have your HP back to survive, for example, to Drogo's, Bomb King, Sky, etc. You can also use the ultimate again versus Zen, who will not be able to grab you if you do so. Or one of the things that I like to do is like when we're really desperate, I pull this, shield up, and ult behind of it. So not only am I doing the damage from my F, but I'm protected by my shield, so I'm not taking a lot of damage and get killed on the ultimate. Plus, I'm pulling people towards me and behind my shield, so there's not a, protections or helps or anything, and stunning them at the same time. Also, little tip, not a lot of people know this, but you can pull people through walls. And this works also above and under. So let me just see here if I'm in the right spot. I don't know. We'll do it like this. You can't resist. You see there? We're pulling them underneath us. So as you can see, that's what you can do there with the ultimate. So technically speaking, if you're running away from somebody and they're about to go through the corner and you see them, you can even do this to see visible targets and see where they are. For some reason, it's not damaging. You can then use this to sort of disrupt them and not allow them to go through the doorway, and instead they get pulled into the side here against the wall. That's something I've done multiple times. You can try it yourself. Can I get out of third person? Apparently not. All right, there we go. But yeah, there you go. Essentially, that's mainly the tips and tricks. Obviously, a good healer is always very, very good. And, oh, by the way, the only reason why those people died there, it's because people who get close to these walls here on shooting range instantly die. If they touch this, they die, okay? So it's not Nyx. I don't want people to be confused. That's just a little bug here from the spawn. They die if they get into this area immediately. It's because it's like it's spawn technically speaking. So it's like the barriers are there, and if they get too close, they die. So it was not me. Nyx cannot one-shot her ultimate, all right? Her ultimate is garbage. People can just run away from it. The most effective you can do is like when people are not expecting it. And one thing I've learned to do is when you're trying to run, and there's somebody going right behind you, even if you don't have the cripple, maybe you're going with a second talent or something, you can do this and just keep going. And they get slowed down because of that. That sticks behind you, and you can actually run away. Obviously, you can also measure here the distance you can do with the shield. So this is the effective thing you can do when you're about to go to the point. You can sometimes go for the second mark, but it's going to make it super weak. And so it should be right around there. And you get used to it in time. Also, if you didn't notice, you saw that little UI bar that showed up for the shield. That's also meant to be the same for this, but for some reason they messed up. This is the bar for Ray. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, so get ready to suffer. You know, get ready to suffer a lot, because I can tell you one thing. Out of all the champions I've had the pleasure to level up, one of the ones that I hated the most to get to level 50 was actually Atlas. And I can tell you that he was not as painful as Nyx. Even Caspian, all bugged as soon as he came out, late towards the last 10 levels or whatever, I found out a different way to play with him with the sword talent, which would just solve a ton of problems because of his Q. And it was way better. Way better. And it was not as, you know, he was a flank, he could kill. There you go. But Nyx, my god, she is a royal pain in the ass. Also, there used to be a bug that apparently you could equip the hands and use a different skin, but they removed that. And now, when I got to the end and I got to level 50, I was trying to do that and it was not there anymore. They took away the weapons, unfortunately. So yeah, there you go. If you have any further questions or if you want any more suggestions, I can answer to you guys in the comments down below. I hope I did help you, and I hope I didn't disencourage you to play Nyx. Maybe you're seeing this in the future. Maybe you're seeing this like maybe next patch and they already fixed her and buffed her or whatever, and maybe she's busted. One thing is certain, on her current state, I've seen pro players play her and they have pretty much almost the same opinion as me. Unless you have like very good coordination with your team, she's not even going to get banned, picked, or like remotely suggested in competitive, so you have an idea on the next patch when she gets in there. One thing I will say, however, is I'm gonna be seeing a lot of people banning Nyx just so their teammates don't pick her because of how bad she is right now. And yeah, other than that, only thing I had to say is this one goes for the devs. Please put the wings back on the sides here of her thighs, please. If you don't know what I'm talking about, she is meant to have wings right there. You see that on the cards right there? She's meant to have wings there. And all her different models, all her different skins had those. Except for the Divine Matriarch, I think. But I think, yeah, the red ones and the golden ones had wings on the side. Please, for the love of God, put that back. Please. I don't care if they get stationary, they don't have, like, you know, they're creating bugs or something. Just, please. This looks so weird because of the line there, how it just immediately does that. And it just looks like her, I don't know, her hip bone is super long. Like, it's super weird. I don't know. And it definitely looks like it was meant to have something there and it's missing it, okay? But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Good luck on your grind from 0 to 50 with Nyx. All I know is that I ain't going to be playing this champion for a very long time until it gets fixed or buffed. But other than that, to the skin itself, I'll give it a 8 out of 10. It looks very nice. The tattoos and everything, it goes all very, very well. I like it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, have a wonderful time. Good luck on your grind, and I'm out. Bye-bye.